Welcome to MoteMancer. I'm CyanAvatar, the mostly solo developer behind this love letter to the automation genre. The composer for MoteMancer is the lovely and talented Alexandria Magova, who's probably best known for her work on V-Rising. I've made a lot of friends working in AAA for nearly over a decade, and they've helped me along the way, so even though I'm predominantly solo on this endeavor, it's definitely been a group effort for a lot of things that got the project rolling, and now at the end when there's a lot to do, so I'm super thankful for them being along with me on this journey. Over the Steam Next Fest, I'll be sharing a few videos that cover the demo. You can play right now, obviously, if you want to, but there's going to be some things that are even further in development. So without further ado, let's begin. So we start in a library of sorts, and there's a lot to learn in this game. So I'm going to talk you through a little bit of how the game is structured by virtue of doing this, but you get a little bit more of a demo commentary or a dev commentary into how the demo flows. So motes in their raw form are fleeting whispers of elements. Through alchemy, we refine and fuse their essence into useful reagents. What I want to say here is that it's very important that the game is built around these 6 elements. The way that their relationship is to each other, it's kind of like what you would imagine copper and iron and things like that to be, but they each have their own personality, and there are also similarities between them that become apparent as you play. So the persistent elements of water and earth and shadow condensed down to salt. That will be important later. We'll talk about that. There's a lot to learn, but that's okay. Salt basically forms structure. They form your logistics network. So if you're familiar with things like conveyor belts and chests, things like that, that's what these guys are good at. And then air, life, and fire are the energetic elements, and they condense down to ether. Ether is power generation. We have solar power, fire power, air power, and there's other things that they do as well, but that's kind of the 2 main keys that they do. And together, they form the entire ecosystem of the pieces that you get to play with. Through alchemical binding, motes find their form. So the hook here, and we'll get into this when we get further in the game, is you need to combine the adjacent elements distillation with the element to create a full element, the same way that you would combine, say, iron ore and coal to make an iron plate. So the fun hook here is that every single element is kind of coal, but it's also its element, and that's a choice that you get to make. Our master says still studying, so we're going to go over and have a chat. There's always more to master, because you're not just an apprentice, you're kind of a badass in your own right. But we have to tutorialize this game in general, so let's put your craft to use. Cast a mana flare to restore them. Spells are a huge part of this game. Other games have, like, weapons or guns or things like that, but you're a mage, so of course we're going to cast spells. You have your spell wheel down here, which for right now you only have mana flare. You'll learn far more spells later, but we're going to cast mana flare, which you can cast anywhere. But the tutorial's saying, hey, these arrows point right here, so we're going to cast in the middle of here. Mana flare is basically a temporary power source, and he said to study the setup. So let's talk about what's going on here. This is a mote patch, so this is like cracks in the ground where motes are seeping through. You can see the little motes peeking through there, and this is a collector, so the motes are kind of like getting attracted to this crystal. They're getting put to this grindstone, which is kind of like our first little factory, a little alchemist's grind table, and it's changing them into salt and ether here. Just go through some tutorial steps. So salt, we just recap what we saw earlier. Ground from water, earth, and shadow. Ether is drawn from life, fire, and air. You'll be very familiar with that as the game goes on. Let's go talk and deliver our chest contents to this guy. Mana flare is a temporary but useful solution. It is, perhaps in time. So one thing actually I should call out about mana flare is, even though it's temporary and it's one of the things that you get super early, it is something that you will use later on because you'll be able to amplify it through the research tree. And of course, no tutorial would be complete without something going wrong in the first few minutes. So this is entropy. Entropy is going to be the main adversary in the game, and it's kind of just this creeping miasma of sucking the life out of everything. So instead of pillaging the world, you're kind of pushing entropy back and creating more order in the world. He's telling you must go through. The planes are stable on the other side. the flow of elements must be reignited before the world shatters. So there used to be these pretty orbs here. There's only one left, this life orb here, and that's about to go away too. So your main objective in the game is going to be to revitalize the connection between the worlds. So I'll hold the line here. The life plane is traversable. We're going to open the portal. This is one of my favorite things about this game. So the conceit for this game is that there are 6 planes on top of each other, 7 if you like, if you want to count the library. And they're all running at the same time. So when you build a factory, it's not just that you're building on a specific plane, it's that you have a bunch of planes on top of each other. But entropy, being the ultimate bad, pierces through everything. So even if you have an entropy patch that's on the life plane, it will also be on the water plane, even though the buildings and structures that you have are different. So the way that you deal with it is going to be a challenge. Your training may be incomplete, but your talent is undeniable. Begin with salt, and the elements will reveal themselves to you. And I am ready. Is anybody ever ready? So this is super fun. This is a live transition between the 2 planes. You can go back and forth for a little bit of time, but when that portal closes, you are now marooned and you cannot go back until you actually restore from the other side. The same thing will happen when you go through another plane. You kind of have to be prepared when you step into another plane for the first time. Inside the life plane, which is where we are, we've got a bunch of different environmental flora. There's tide stones, there's life blooms, there's trees of life. They are the kind of condensed versions of the motes. So we still have these familiar mote patches that we saw. Entropy is already beginning to spread, which is no good, but that's okay. The mote patches here are where you're going to get all of your resources from. So if we harvest motes from our surroundings, just by plucking a couple little flowers, a couple stones, claim. Salt and ether can be extracted from motes, so this is what we were talking about earlier. Open your inventory with E, and we can make ether from, just like the grindstone was doing, from life, fire, or air, and salt from water, earth, and shadow. I'm going to get a little bit more of this. Oh, I need another life. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice that when you craft something, it shows up in the bottom left corner. Just like other games do in this genre, it's not an instant craft. It's something that you actually have to earn because this is an automation game. And so you want to make sure that you're actually automating instead of crafting everything by hand. But you can craft stuff by hand for a little bit. That's okay. Everybody does it. I do too. Collect smarter, not harder. So we're going to get into starting to automate. So I'm going to make a simple collector just like we saw in the library. You can place it on a mote field and you can see that there's a preview of the number of motes underneath where you're going. So you can either maximize for efficiency or you can maximize for overlap for absolute number of motes that you get. The choice is yours. We're going to cast a mana flare next to this guy to power it just like we did early, and this will start collecting. And so as that collects, we don't have to grab stuff from the environment anymore. We will get it straight through here. I'm going to clear a couple more of these away, and let's see. Let's grab this. Oh, you can control click to grab from the inventory. That's a kind of a genre staple, but just in case people want to know hotkeys in this game, there are many. And let's see. I should actually go set up a collector or two down in another patch. So here's a patch of life. One fun thing about this is that there's no map in the game yet. Not to say that we won't have a map in the game, but right now there's a lot of environmental storytelling and finding. So the way this works is, notice the life blooms and the trees of life coming out of this mote patch. They're kind of creating a line as they go out, but you can also see here's a couple of stones that look different. These stones will lead you to an earth patch. So wherever you find something in the world, there it is. Wherever you find something in the world, you can kind of use context clues and explore the world, just appreciating that the world has a self-consistency to it. We'll go get that earth later, but just showing off that like you don't necessarily need a fancy compass or a map or anything like that. You can navigate the world completely organically and be okay. So anyway, let's set up a couple of collectors here. We'll do this. I'm pressing R to rotate, by the way. There's a tutorial for that later, but, you know, R does the rotate thing. So our couple of collectors, and they'll start gathering just like our other collector up that was gathering water. Let's go grab that. And then we also want to make a grindstone, just like we saw in the library. So let's do that. Make our grindstone, attach it to power. And here's everything we saw. So we can't make these two yet, except we're going to click claim and they'll be able to be made. So we're going to do that. Click claim. Altars. We're going to get into research right away. Grab a drink. So research in this game is done a little bit differently than it is in other games. Typically, you would insert something into a specific structure, and that's how you would start researching. For MoteMancer, it's a lot more organic and a lot more changeable depending on what you do. So let's explain that. Let's show that. So I'm going to make an infusion altar. Actually, before I do that, I just want to demonstrate that I don't have to craft all this by hand. I can throw these in here. I'll just grab half of these and do double duty with my grindstone while it's doing that. I'm even, you know what? I'm just going to make a second grindstone. Because you can craft by hand, but, you know, I mean, after a while, you really want to automate things because it's faster. Okay, so let's go here. We'll have these two guys going. Grab the salt and ether out of here. And then I can also put salt and ether in here directly to start making prisms. So let's do that. I'll grab these guys. Anyway, you get the idea. So I'm going to grab these out of here and make our altar. Still takes quite a few materials. And we need 2 pedestals to go with our altar. This is very much, by the way, a love letter to old Minecraft mods. There's a lot of mods that have some sort of like a fusion crafting vibe where it's you combine ingredients and they either give you like spells or research, and this is very inspired by that. I've played a ton of modded Minecraft in my time, and this is the funness. So we're gonna go here, and let's go here and here. That should work out fine. Altars need power, just like anything else. So we're gonna give that some power, and then let's see what we have. Let's go back to our grindstone that was making stuff. We got some salt. And in order to start our fusion, we need to fuse ether and a salt prism. So let's make one of those. Ether and a salt prism. Let's make 5 of those. Right click, by the way, makes 5. Left click makes 1. So there's a variety of ways that you can interact with this. You're going to be automating this really for the most part, but you can go straight in this inventory. You can drop an ether here. You can drop a prism here, and that will start the research process. Each altar can have as many pedestals around as you want. There's 18 spots for it to go around, and it will grab from whatever is the closest. Let's claim here, and now we get into research proper. So here's the start of the research tree. Notice that there's a big fog of war here. The research tree is actually quite vast, but I don't want to intimidate you right off the bat. There's plenty to grow into. So the first thing we're going to do, we have 1/3 of our progress already towards simple logistics, so we're going to continue on that vein. The way that this research tip works is it shows you the, notice how it says infusion, altar ingredients, salt, and ether. It's what we just did, and then it will unlock the new recipes so you can see what your progress is. One notable thing about this is that notice how this is salt prism and shifting slab. This is salt prism and grindstone. When you research, you don't necessarily have to only research one thing at a time, and in fact, you can be researching both multiple things at a time and certain things even faster. Egg asked how many elements there are. There are 6 elements in the tree. So we're going to go through. The life plane has life, water, and earth right now. And as you travel around there's little placeholders for them here. They'll reveal themselves later in the demo. But as you travel around, you'll have access to the immediately adjacent elements. So when you're sitting in earth, for example, you'll have fire, earth, and life available to you, but you'll lose access to water. There's something else fun that isn't necessarily apparent in the demo, but is true for the game. You cannot build a structure from like a life structure in the shadow plane. There's a strict enforcement there. So the way that you solve a puzzle in one plane versus another is going to be different. You'll still have tools that you are used to using and that are relevant to you, but there will be different ways and different challenges. So like I said, you can go straight through the altar. It's been a minute since we did that. You can also place these directly on the pedestals through the inventory here, and you'll get progress. Notice this went to 2 of 3, and you have this nice little tooltip that tells you. But also, you can control click. So if I hold this and click control, and hold this and click control, I can just drop it right there directly. So there's a lot of different ways to do this. And in fact, I'm going to drop these on here using control 1, so I can have this going while we go. When a research completes, it'll flash in the bottom corner. One of the reasons that we did this on the development journey is because if research keeps happening in the background on its own, you kind of lose track of what's happening, and so it's better for you to take a moment to click this, go like, okay, yes, simple logistics unlock, this is what I get, and we're going to claim that. So here's a fun thing about this. This is a step in the tutorial that confuses some folks, so I'm going to take a moment to call it out. Collectors have a specific output area, this orange here. So it's harvesting from all the blue around here, but it will also output directly to an orange. So you can use this newfound gripper that we have to pull out of the inventory, but you can also directly put a grindstone down. So if we put this grindstone right here, for example, just like it shows on the banner, now, like it was in the library, it'll put directly to here, and so we're making salt automatically. So instead of this harvesting water, we've kind of turned it into a salt harvesting thing. There's also a way to fill up your mana flares, so you could cast them, but if you just click on them with mana flare active down here, I pressed spacebar, it says right there, but press spacebar to go there. And now it's making salt. And actually, I'm going to make a second collector here because we're going to need more of this as we go. Do this, and we can be a little clever and go like that. So this mana flare is powering all three of these things. Both of these are touching the grindstone, and this is actually the ratio of these that keeps it kind of rolling constantly. So we're going to go here. Okay, we do need to keep our research rolling, but we're going to get our automation going a little bit better first. So let's do that. Go here. I'm sure that these have, yeah, we've got a ton of life in here. So let's grab this. This will be making our ether at full speed, which is great. And then put some salt, and I should just grab some more ether right away. So let's see what the tutorial says. Tutorial says, use a simple gripper to place a salt prism onto a pedestal. Let's make a gripper first. So in our logistics menu, this is where all of your moving stuff around is going to be. We'll make a simple gripper, and we will go straight from the grindstone to the pedestal. We need to power that. So I can, if I want, get rid of this guy because we now are powering it here. I'll pull this guy up while I'm here. So that's that sorted, and let's remind ourselves we need ether. So let us get a chest, and we'll drop some ether into that chest, and we'll do a slight bit of automation here, which we can make more robust later. And by later, I mean almost immediately later. Okay, so let's go down here. Let's fill this guy up. We've got a lot of ether cooking, which is great. Gonna drop our ether in the chest, and now this is a automated research setup. A little crude, but it's early. It's okay. So now we're doing that. Let's see. I think we want to double our collector and grindstone setup. So let's do that while that researches. We're gonna need more salt for sure. And you know what? Now that I look at this, let's see if I can make this collector do double duty. Looks like I can. Awesome. So here, oh, almost. Okay, we're gonna go here. Collector actually goes where? There. Yeah. Awesome. So this is close to what we saw in the library. We've got one mana flare powering 6 different structures, which is awesome. And then we're going to go down here, and I don't know if I need to do the same thing right away, but let's tell you what, let's craft these 2 while we look around at what we're going to do. I think we just unlocked shifting slabs. Shifting slabs transport items effortlessly along its track. So this is your classic conveyor belt. So let's unlock that, and let's make a bunch. We should probably automate this. Actually, we have to automate it because it's going to be used here later. And it looks like our salt prisms ran out. So let's use our newly found shifting slabs. Oh, to make a line. So if I use control here, I can switch from a freeform placement to a locked placement. Depending, like grids are a little bit tough to use when you're getting used to them. And so if you hold down control, or not hold down control. When you press control, you can toggle between a freeform version of placement versus a straight placement. I personally really like freeform just because it's a very organic game, and I like mess. I know that you're not supposed to make spaghetti, but spaghetti is fun. Let's be honest. Nobody says it out loud. I'll say it out loud. So here we have our lovely salt setup, and I'm going to grab here. Oh, see where this is why I like freeform mode. It was betraying me. I want to actually round this corner like this. There we go. And since we have this set up, let's actually go down here, because this can power our newly found gripper, your newly found salt chain. So we'll go like this. We'll do one more salt slab out here. And, oh, you have salt, you need ether. All right, 1 second. Really, we should set up automating this, which will go, we'll get to that in a second. Let's see, I did a collector. Let's make a little bit more space. I guess I could do the same setup here since we were so clever earlier. Let's continue being clever. Okay, let's go here. This is taking up 2 spots. Let's just own this. That's okay. So this is gonna go here, and we'll do a collector there, and a collector there, and a grindstone here. Beautiful. Okay. Same setup where we need grippers though. So this is kind of efficient, and then kind of not, because we still need to make 2 of these here. So there's going to absolutely be ways that players find to make their own versions of all this, but for now this is what I am going to do. One fun thing about the freeform mode is your character runs along the grid like this. So we run like this, and you are there. Let's go here. Okay, place a gripper here. And so now we've automated that end. Let's see. Okay. Excellent. So this is making our prisms, and prisms are getting placed there, and we're getting our automation on, which is exactly what we're about. That's going to take 10, and then the next thing, use a Tinker's Table to craft a shifting slab. So as soon as this Tinker's Table completes, we will use that to make shifting slabs. We also need to ultimately have shifting slabs get put to this altar. So let's go like this. We're gonna make a shifting slab setup right here if we can help it. We'll see if our planning is luckier, if we have to do something different about it. It's fine. Okay, Tinker Table. Let's make a Tinker Table. Tinker Table is kind of like advanced crafting, so where Grindstone makes your basics, grinding things down into ether and salt and things, Tinker Table is going to be what makes all the logistics stuff that we've been making. A little top off. Okay. Tinker Table here. That's not quite right, but it's not too far off. Let's see what we can do to adjust this. I grab this and I place this. Let's undo that. That'll do. So, kind of like that. So same spirit. And then, let's see, this is powering those 2. Let's be a little clever and put this here. Except we need salt, don't we? Let's see, how do we want to do that? I mean, I can move this all the way around. Let's make a couple belts while we think about what we want to do here. Because what I wanted to do was put salt crystals in here. I mean, I can just loop it around for now. Let's do that, that's okay. We'll go here. And we'll put a gripper here. I'm sure we'll decide that this is too messy later, but for now, this will serve its purpose. I'm going to clear out this ether chest here. And this is getting salt, which is good. And then we need to get ether, or we need to get salt prisms here. So let's go this. Could be way more efficient than this, but that's okay. All right, so now this is making salt prisms here and salt slabs here, and that's doing research here. I would like to figure out a way to make this a little bit cleaner though. So while that's going, let's see what we can do about this. And I'd also like to show off that you can make this a little bit more. See, I boxed myself into a corner. Let's give ourselves more space. I'm gonna go on this side of the altar. And altars and pedestals can share, like I said before. So if we can get a way to have our... If we can find a way to have our pedestal or our prisms on one side and our slabs on the other, we can actually do 2 at a time. So let's go, let's see, how do we want to do that? I mean, we can also just pull prisms down a line. Maybe we do it that way. Let's do that. Here. Beautiful thing about an automation game is the factory is working while you're figuring stuff out. So let's do that. We'll grab from these guys because there's a little bit of extras. Let's go check our ether. I'm sure it's running low, but it's still chugging away. Grab. Cool. Okay. So we've got, let's do an ether line here. Hey, look, a research just finished, and it's probably just in time. So this is underground slabs. Underground slabs will solve the problem that I have right now, which is right here. So we can have this line go under. And let's make a bunch of grippers. Really, I should be automating grippers, but we'll see how much time we have. How many hours of gameplay is it? The demo is, depending on how much you want to play. I mean, this is a sandbox game, so there's plenty of time. If you really, really rush, it's about 3 hours. The game itself is massive. The game is dozens or even hundreds of hours. Even just getting through the first plane is probably at least 10 hours of gameplay. But the demo's quite robust. So even, I mean, as you can see, I haven't even done an element yet. We're still just kind of plodding along here. I'm going to be a little ad hoc here and just grab from this line. Like so. And I'm actually going to, let's see. I mean, I guess we can run the salt line all the way down here for our slabs. Oh, do we run out of something? This is not making enough prism. Oh, I see. The prisms are coming from here now. That's why. Okay, cool. That'll all work out. Okay. We're going to run a salt line down here. Let's go here. Our salt come in here, and then we need prisms to also go in here. So let's go this way. And I guess I'm going to be a little bit half clever, half messy. That's this whole game. Okay, we're going to go here and have our gripper come down here. So we're going to feed prisms both to the pedestal, but also to this area. And then this will, we need to go underground here some way. Maybe I was a little too clever. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have it come in from behind. So let's go this way. Because we still want to have this table feeding. Like this. That could work. It looks like it'll work. And then we can feed our, there we go. Perfect. So now we have 2 altars researching the same thing, a little bit twice as fast. And we have a giant mess here, but that's okay. I fully expect messes from everybody starting this game for the first time. There's plenty to learn. There's a lot of cool patterns to go to figure out. But for now, this is doing the thing, and we're researching twice as fast as we were before, which is great. Okay, let's fill this up. All right, our elemental binder just came online. So elemental binder, I know that there's tutorial objectives up here. I know what the tutorial mostly says, so I'm just kind of going and playing through. Hope that's okay. So we're gonna unlock elemental binder. Oh, we just unlocked the first tree. So here's the life tree. Life is a great source of power. Also, if you click on these, there's a little bit of exposition, just kind of guiding you along the way. There's a couple different ways to go. So what this is saying is that we need to now branch out into elements. So salt prism and elemental life. So before we were making this chain of salt, we're going to start branching into elemental things. So elemental life needs motes of life. Set up a little mote of life miner collector set up over here. Okay, let's make 4 of these. And let's see if we have some leftovers. So these are stockpiling slabs and stockpiling prisms. Absolutely take advantage of that because we're going to need quite a few of things to craft. Okay. Let's get our collectors down. We're gonna go, how do we want to do this? Let's go here and here maybe. Those will share a little bit more space. Let's actually just start with those two. That's probably all we need. So we'll put this here. And then, wrong key, sorry. I'm gonna run this line out. And what we need to do is make elemental life, and we're going to replace what we were doing here. So that pedestal is going to want... Here, let's move this, actually. Let's go here. How do I want to do that? I'm going to have this guy here. This guy here, here. Don't need that anymore. It also looks like our salt line is not as saturated as we want it to be. Why is that? I think we just need more is really the answer. So let's do that. Let's go make a salt here. And then we'll do the same setup. Oh, you can rotate this in place, by the way, like that. I love this track. Alexandria Magova is the composer for this, and she has done a phenomenal job of bringing the magical world of this to life. It's very sandboxy, very chill, very vibey, and I'm super happy with collaborating with her. Highly recommend. Okay, what were we doing? We were making elemental life. Let's make a binder. And that is going to now, so this putting salt slabs to there is no longer needed. We're going to, we probably should just run a little bit of a line here just so we have a backup. Actually, that's a good idea. Let's have a buffer chest. So one thing that you can do in games like this is have a little buffer here. So, I mean, the binder itself is kind of a buffer, but that's okay. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put this here instead. We're going to power the altar and that give us a little more space. And go here. And now we need to find a way to get our motes of life up here, which we certainly have the tools for. I'm gonna go like that. And let's run a line. Let's see. If I want to do more than one of these at a time, eventually, I don't need to do it right away, but we pretend like we're planning for the future. Let's do this. And here's our line coming in, which is great. And then we should have our... Oh, so there's a little pop-up that teaches you what I've been showing you all along. So you can press space to recharge in place. That happens when one of these is low. Oh, that guy looks pretty low. I bet there's one. Oh, this guy's super low. Okay, let's charge that. Okay. We also have this research that's just about to come online that says increases the duration of Mana Flare by 50%, which just happened. So that happens live too, by the way. So these are all now longer, regardless of what state they're in. But we are absolutely in a place where we should start doing life. We can go down the salt path, but I'll leave that for you guys to explore. Radiant Flare notably increases the range of Mana Flares by 1, so instead of just adjacent, it's 2, which is super good. Oh great, we're awesome on time. Only half an hour. We're still going to go into Tree of Life stuff. Oh, what is a mote? So you can think of a mote like the barest essence of something. It's kind of like... there's this quote from Carl Sagan that I love, the pale blue dot, where the Earth is a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. Here it's kind of like a whisper of water or life or earth, and mechanically it's ore, right? It's like iron ore, copper ore that you then synthesize to make the full element. So you can either take that mote and distill it alchemically into its base essence. So I'll just go over that again. You can get salt from water, earth, and shadow. So there's water and earth on this plane specifically. Shadow is far away. And by far away, I mean not even on this plane. You have to go to a different realm to even see it. And then life is on this plane. Life, fire, and air are the motes that make up ether. And then when you combine them, you make the full element. So that's what this binder does. You can see that it takes an ether, which is made from motes of life, and a mote of water to make a full element. So every time you come across a mote patch, like one of these, you can decide whether it's going to be the catalyst for life or whether you're going to use it as water. So do you turn this into salt or do you use it as water? So every time you see something in the world, you kind of have a choice of how you want to leverage that resource. It's not just a static thing. Anyway, let's go get some salt here. I mean, I guess I can just probably pull off this line, but we do need way more salt. So let's just set up yet another. I'm sure I can be way more efficient about this, but early players are going to be messy about this, so I am too. Really, that's just an excuse for me. Okay, let's go here. That's fine. There. And then I'm going to have this line dedicated to pulling salt down. Let's do that. All right, our usual freeform mode. Let's do this. We can drag this way, this way. It's that little grid helper that shows you what the grid is. Oh, by the way, here's a good tip for people. If you really like seeing the grid in general, you can just press G and have it on all the time. I obviously developer for this game, so I know what the grid feels like, and I've gotten used to it, but I super appreciate that, again, hexes are not necessarily intuitive for people. You can also drag backwards, so notice how this conveyor belt, this shifting slab is going down and to the left. We can drag backwards up into this, and it will be just fine. Okay, let's place this here. And now, after all of that exposition, we have our binder that is combining these two into elemental life. And because we have this salt prism set up from before, and we have these two altars set up before, we're already doing twice as much research, which is super cool. So, let's let that cook for a little bit. Let's, oh, this guy ran out. That's helpful. Let's top all of our mana flares off while we research a more long-term solution to power. This is a great short-term solution, but the maintenance on it is a chore for sure. Let's do this. But soon we won't need them at all. So begin Tree of Life research. That's going, which is great. Is there anything else we can do? Let's start clearing away some space. So patches themselves, there's actually a research later in here. Mystical Agriculture. Shout out to Minecraft mod Mystical Agriculture. I love that mod. One of my favorites. Just a little nod there. I didn't even read it. Mystical Agriculture lets you grow Mote of Life back on field. So if you feel bad about clearing away the flowers and the trees from the patch of life, you can grow them back. There's also a spell later called Nudge, which lets you nudge a structure one space. Super useful for having like a full chest where you don't want to pick up the entire chest and have the entire inventory just like pour into yours and flood it. So you can just push it a little bit. But also if you want to push foliage around and decorate your base, you can absolutely do that. So Tree of Life. Awesome. All right. Tree of Life. Now we have this wheel up here. So you're asking how many elements there are. This is kind of where you get your first like real contact with that. If I filter by life, this does show all the salt structures as well, kind of because the way that I've done this is kind of like your toolkit when you're dealing with life. I could just filter to life, but you'd only see 2 structures here, and that's not necessarily helpful. So this is, for now, the toolkit that we are playing in. Let's go up and grab some of our buffered elemental life, which I hope there's at least a little of. All right, we've got 16. That's good enough for now. We're going to make a cultivator. So, how are we going to do this? We're probably going to have to rejigger this a little bit, but that's okay. So the way a cultivator works is, the nice thing is this is all backed up, so we can have that. A cultivator is much larger, but it's very much like a mana flare. So this orange area here is a power area. Excuse me. And this takes motes of life as the fuel for it. So if I plop a mote of life in here, it's now powering this simple collector just like a mana flare would. You can see the amount of power it's generating. It's consuming 90 currently because these are also drawing from it. Really, we should kind of work our setup so that these all work with the cultivator. But the cool thing we can do right off the bat is because this takes motes of life, we can create a direct output. So have a simple collector directly output to a mana cultivator. So these both don't have power. If I give this just a single one, now this is powered, but also these are creating motes of life and create a loop. So this is a automated power setup already, which is nice. It's not like a ton of power, but it will absolutely get our power rolling. We also have our research for the next thing coming in. So cultivators are fine because they do adjacency really well, but the real power of life comes when you start making a root network. So let's talk about how that works. So our root network, let's go here, make a couple of roots. So notice how this has a green triangle in the middle. You can grow roots out from your cultivator. And now all of those are powered along this line. So your entire power network is this whole thing. So if we want to extend our network from this single cultivator, number one, we can also make a second cultivator if we want to, but we don't need to just yet. We only have 150 power draw here. But so I might leave this one specifically here for now, but I can absolutely go like this. And let's make an underground here. Have this guy go here. And then I can draw, let's make a bunch more roots. I should really automate that. And I think that we need to automate it later. Come down here, and now these, oops. Let's hotkey this. Let's put that here. There. Now all of this is controlled by this cultivator. And really, I should go through and have everything powered by this cultivator, but we'll get to that in a second, because there's more to do. Here's where the game gets much, much bigger. So there's a bunch of life stuff to do here, which is cool. But once I unlock this, here's the start of your water. Notice that it also goes off into the distance. And here's the start of your earth tree. Both of them are super useful in their own way. I think I can probably start doing one of those too, but life also has plenty to dig into. So from here, it's absolutely a choose your own adventure of where you want to grow, which path you want to go down, what you want to research. And also because, again, of the altar setup, we're not necessarily bound to just researching life now. So we can, I mean, let's go set up an earth thing. I saw an earth patch way over here. Let's get that rolling. So on the way over, let's do the things we know we need. Earth is going to need life. Maybe we'll pair it up with this patch on the way. So let's do that. We have biorhythm researching. Biorhythm I will talk about when we get there. Let's focus on the task at hand, but biorhythm will help our endeavors as well very shortly. So let's do this. And should we plan for a root network? Let's do that actually. Let's do life first. And we'll do a nice and clean mana cultivator setup. Looks like we need to get more elemental life for that, but that's completely fine. Come up here. Grab what we had, 27. That should be plenty, I hope. Can always go back for more if we need it. Okay, so cultivator here. And collector feeding it. Let's see, let's go there. We'll give this one mode of life to just start rolling while we figure out what we're doing. And I might plan out my root network first. A greenhouse, by the way, I'm actually going to cancel this. So right click on that, cancels. I'm going to make a greenhouse. Greenhouse is mostly to show it off right now. There's no real need to automate roots immediately, but I can put my greenhouse next to this cultivator. And a greenhouse is where we can make roots themselves. So this is taking elemental life in slabs, so eventually I should go up and automate that, but I'll probably save that for another stream since that'll take me a while to figure out, and that's fine. Oh, look, biorhythm. Okay, let's show off biorhythm. So many things to do in this game. Okay, so biorhythm, notice that your spell wheel just got updated down here. So if I click on life and I click on biorhythm, let's read what biorhythm does first. Grants power to nearby structures and recharges nearby mana flares. So down here, if I, for example, take this guy away and take the motes out so that it's no longer powering anything. If I cast biorhythm, it creates an aura around me, and that will power this structure, which will then create a mode of life that will fill that up, and now it's a fully self-powering thing. So we could have put a mana flare, that's fine, but also biorhythm will go charge your flares for you. So this guy that's running low, I can just walk around to him and it will fill up as I walk. Go up here, and we're just going to do a little tour of our base and fill up all of our mana flares like this. Just a little quality of life thing so that we don't have to spend all of our time clicking, and gives us some time to think while we refactor everything and eventually draw roots to everything, but that's okay. Gives us a little bit of time. Cool. Everybody's full, everybody's happy. We can leave biorhythm on if we want. I'm going to take it off just for fun. It doesn't really matter one way or the other. Every element has, so notice when I clicked here, there's also a spell called Daycaller. In the demo, the day-night cycle is turned off just because you don't really get solar power in the demo, but it is very much a part of what life ends up doing. And so every single element has 2 different spells at the moment. We may even go further as the game develops, but Earth has Nudge, for example, which is the one I was referring to earlier, where you just like push something out of the way. Water has Riptide, which will both pull stuff off of streamways. We haven't talked about streamways yet, but it's your classic conveyor belt, except it's on a river, basically, and it has 2 lanes, like is done in games like Factorio. And then lots of ways to do like splitters, like streamway delta is a way to split, underground streams, etc., etc. We'll get there in a little bit. But anyway, every single element has both a passive and an active. Air lets you levitate, which you may have seen from the trailer for the game. So let's pull this root line out. We may not actually have enough. Gonna need a little bit more. Let's go get some more. One thing that this game also does is there are combo elements. So I'm pulling out a root line. Once you get to water and life combinations, you can make a verdant stream, which is both a root and a stream in one. So your capability will increase vastly as you research things, but for now you're still kind of learning, getting your feet wet. Let's drag this over here. Okay. So let's do our usual setup, except we actually care about motes of earth in this case. So we don't want to change them to salt, even though we could if we wanted to. Let me check chat real quick. Okay. All right, let's have this come up here. Run this line. And I think what I'm going to do to round out this session is start some Earth research and show what that goes, and then we'll pick up later since we're getting close to an hour. Okay, so we know we need a elemental binder, and we need ether. So let's do a quick, I was going to pull a root line up, but we could also just flip that ether and have it touch, and we're good to go. So let's do that. We're going to do this. And now, okay, fine. I am going to pull the root line up like that. One interesting thing that I'm thinking of is, like, I could do a line of salt from those collectors that also makes elemental life, and then do both at the same time. We'll spare you from that for the moment, but that's absolutely an option. Let's do this, and let's see. I don't want to do that. That? Nope. Let's put the grindstone down first. Grindstone here. Collector there. And collector there. That'll work. Okay. And then we need ether getting pulled out. Just thought of something that's a little in the future, but is still reasonable. I'll tell you what, we'll do that future thing very shortly. Let's do this. We'll just pull from here, pull a root up here. Need to make a few more roots. Definitely need more elemental life. Let's grab from here. There are absolutely reasons to automate everything immediately. I could do that, but I don't know. This is more fun for now. Especially as a first introduction to the game. You don't need to watch me do like this super elaborate thing. Maybe when we come back to the stream, there will be a super elaborate thing. But for now, we're just having fun. Feeling out the game. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so ether and earth should start making elemental earth, which is great. I bet I have a pile of prisms stored up, so I'm probably just going to go grab those. And let's do our double setup again for our altar. So we're going to pull from here. Let's see. Do I want to? I'm just going to do this for now. Oh, you know what? No, I know what I'm going to do. We're going to have this be an underground. Does that work? Hopefully that works. Yes, cool. Okay. And we can have our roots come up here. Okay, like that. And then we're going to do a pedestal. We're going to have an altar. Look at that pedestal. Another altar. Look at that pedestal. Sure, why not? We can do two close to each other. Does that work like that? And then go like this. Now both of those are powered. We can do a pedestal up here, and that's where we're going to put our salt prisms to. So let's grab, I'm going to be crude about this because I can. And we'll just do a chest with a bunch of prisms that I'm sure are just hanging out over here. Oh, we unlocked leaves forever ago. This is why. Okay. So leaves are kind of like a steel, if you like, in games like this, where you have a higher version of life. You use it for advanced crafting of things. But also you can use it for more fuel in your cultivator. So I think cultivators make 300 for, what is it, 3 seconds? 300 for 3. I've been tuning it. I don't know what the latest tuning of this is. But yeah, about 300 for 3 seconds. And when you do leaves, it's 500 for 5. So you get a huge boost in productivity once you start automating that. But the nice thing is these have been building up prisms, assuredly. Look at all those prisms. Okay. So certainly when we get way deeper in the tree, we would be automating more of that. But for now, do this. We can do a simple gripper here, run some roots right around this guy, growing our lovely power network here. I'm going to be slightly, it's not even slightly more efficient, it just says what it is. Actually, yeah, I don't need these anymore because that's looping around. Cool. And let's load this up with prisms. And now we're researching Earth at the same time as we're researching this Life Adept prism. So let's let that roll for a second. Let's increase our Earth throughput a little bit. Yeah, one isn't enough, let's be fair. I don't know why I ended with 1. I got so excited. Okay, let's go here, here, maybe 1 more. Here. Let this loop around. Go. Check the power network. We're generating 300 and we're consuming just above that. So stuff is going to slow down slightly when we do that. The easiest thing to do there is to make a second cultivator. And we can attach that cultivator with its roots to this. Let's find a way to do that that is reasonable. Let's see. Actually, let's go down here. This is probably better. I'm going to do it this way so that I still have access to the hatches. Actually, I was incorrect. Let's do the other side. So let's go... ooh, Earth just unlocked. We'll get to that in a second. Let's put this here. Is that going to work? Yeah, that'll work. Alright, we'll do another collector. How's this collector doing? It's kind of keeping up. I could feed. I mean, sure, we could do it that way. Let's just feed this way. Like, the other way to do it, what I was going to do is put this here, and, I mean, working on those, right? Let's just do both. There we go. So this is going, I guess I don't want that guy there anymore. But this is now in a separate network. It's not connected here. So, we can come in here and connect those two up, and now we're generating twice as much power, fully saturated, everything's groovy. Let's do our earthy thing. So the first thing you unlock in Earth is a reaching gripper. Let's grab our elemental earth that we have out of here. A reaching gripper will let us go and span a larger distance with this. So if I don't have a super good example of where to use this at the moment, but I'll just show it off, I guess. Let's, oh, that's what I was gonna do. So here, haha, I set myself up for future success. Okay. So here, oh, it's almost there. Sad. You can put the reaching gripper there. Let's see, what are we gonna do? Let's see if we can get creative here. I think we're gonna be 1 spot away. What's this do? How convoluted can we be? Okay. So just like an underground belt does its thing, a reaching gripper will reach from one place to another. Sure. This is gross, but it's fine. We love it. Okay, we're gonna go there. I'm gonna make a pedestal. I'm gonna go back here because it's got everything I need. Pedestal. I'm gonna put a pedestal there. Let's put a root here. We'll put another pedestal here because pedestals are just multi-purpose. They'll store one thing, and then I'll put a gripper here. So this is super gross, but it's also kind of pretty. I don't know. You get to see the arcs. flowing through. We have the same setup we do jumping across, mostly just showing what you can do. And I mean, obviously, if you wanted to go across a root line, a reaching gripper is a really good way to do that. If you want to have like a separate line of stuff down here, you can make a reaching gripper, which is now earth. Reaching gripper. Come here, and now you can have your elemental earth coming down this line and used for something else. Like we could start automating reaching grippers if we wanted to, for example. So both of these are rolling, which is great. These are rolling, which is great. This will automatically sort itself based on which one is closer. Looks like we're only going up by one at a time. Let's see if our throughput changed at all. Oh, we should go biorhythm. Fill these guys up. So one thing to note, and I'm not gonna do it in this playthrough because we're running low on time as is, but if you want to go down researching, oh, I should show off Rampant Bloom. I don't know, that's a lot. I think I'll show off Rampant Bloom next time. So one thing that I've been doing this whole time, that's one thing I've been missing. I should have shown that off. So irresponsible of me. Let me fill this up. You don't need to use roots on everything. You can also make a mana bloom, which is a much longer and broader way. So that's actually like the way that we would hit this guy, for example. Let's come in here. And does it hit that guy? Make sure I'm not speaking out of turn. Yes, it does. Okay. So this mana bloom covers this entire area here. If I take this away, now everything is powered with just the bloom. I should have done that in the first step. I planned on it and I totally forgot. But anyway, this is kind of like a way to spread power further. The upgrade for Mana Bloom over here is Rampant Bloom, which lets you extend your root network under crafting structures and production structures. So what would happen is if I unlock that, your root structure comes out and goes under here, and then you can even place a mana root down there, and this will be a fully connected setup. So I'll just continue letting that unlock for a little bit while this goes. Let's see, let's do the same thing here. So that's not working anymore, but okay, let's make a collector. Where are we gonna do that? Sure, that's fine. And we can just loop this around and it'll be no biggie. Cool. That's all happy. This is doing the thing. The next step would be to run our root line all the way up into here and start powering this. Oh, looks like, okay. One was only going at a time. What's happening here? Ah, it's because we were running out of life. Okay, that's fine. This should catch up as soon as these doubles start coming in. Let's see if I have any life on me to help this get kickstarted a little bit. Just a few seconds. Okay, great. So that's going, tell you what, I will play until this hits 200 so I can show you what happens when that gets revealed, but we're researching both of these at a time. We could also start getting into water research, of course. Let's find a water patch. Here's our water patch. I might actually start working on bringing a root line up here while we wait for that. One of my favorite things about automation games in general is there's always stuff to do. There's always like, here's a priority. Oh wait, this thing got in the way. It's one of the lovely things about the genre. Like, I should really be automating mana roots, for example, instead of just crafting by hand. I should absolutely be making more. Let's actually, I mean, we could do that one for sure right now. Let's turn biorhythm on just so we are powering this stuff while we're working. We'll grab this guy. Grab some prisms. Grab a bunch of slabs so we don't have to craft any of those. Okay, let's flip this way. We'll power this for now. I really love the hex implications for setting up things like that. So like, this is slightly different, but I can go from here to here and it's still only using one flare to power both. It's great. Is there a good way for us to hit this chest? Kind of. Let's go make a couple reaching grippers. We can absolutely get into this guy from a very different position now that we have them. We'll just do this for now. This is fine. Like that. If we even need them. This is full. We got so many. Okay. So that's one thing. But then what that allows us to do is put a reaching gripper here, which is already powered. Fantastic. And then, oh, that's the curtain call. Let's just quickly set this guy up. So here. Okay. Put reaching grippers down here. And how do we want to do that? You know what we'll do? We'll put a reacher here. And then go down here. So that'll be a line that we can pull from later, but we can also store in this chest. And there we go. Okay, I'm going to unlock this and show that it goes further, and this isn't even the end. So there's 3 tiers of research for every element. There's branches to go down for all of these. There's tons and tons and tons of stuff. So we just unlocked Quarry Collector, which is a different way to get Earth. You get twice as much motes of Earth if you use a Quarry Collector down there. I should play longer. It helps you understand the game. I think I will absolutely do a second session. I think rewatching this will probably help you understand the game for sure. But my second session I'm going to do tomorrow will have way more of future content, future stuff. I'll probably unlock a couple extra things. I'll go through. I might even cheat my way to getting solar power, things like that. I mean, I can. Let's see. It's getting late. It's already an hour in. I don't want to burn people out. Anyway, Quarry Collectors let you collect twice as many motes of Earth if you match them up. We're going to get on our way to unlocking chests and stuff as well as Nudge. So much to do. Honestly, like, go play the game yourself. I think the best way to experience it is to get in there, make mistakes, feel it out. The game is very much about learning and taking your time. Think of it like a Zen garden. Think of it just like as a way to chill out. The music is very soothing. Just hanging out, cultivating your Zen garden. That's all it needs to be. It doesn't need to be fast. It doesn't need to break your neck. It's what I love about games in this genre. I always, even when I was playing Factorio a bunch, I treated Factorio like my Zen garden. I just sit and think for a long time before I figured out what I wanted to do. Here I have to like actively make things instead of plan out just to make sure that you guys are engaged, but yeah. I think that's going to wrap it up for this play session. So I'm going to save this. Oh, by the way, if anybody is playing and they have feedback, you can open this feedback form. This will go directly to me, and I can check out any bugs or feedback or anything else that you have. It'll pause the game too, so you can just type in stuff here. You can send your email if you like. Don't have to, but if you want me to get back to you of like, hey, I fixed it, or if I need more information, that's a way to do that. But absolutely, do whatever you want to do. But I'm going to save. And we'll save this as next best one. And when I come back, it will be probably a little bit more advanced version of this playthrough, a little bit more developed version. I'll probably end up rooting all this off camera, but we'll pick it up more or less where we left off. Cheerio. Thanks for watching.